Hello guys, Sapphire Youngman with last night's episode of Rain, episode 4, titled Hearts and Mind. So, I really love watching period pieces just because of the dynamic. You kind of get a glimpse of pretty much of how things went back, then politically and love-wise and everything. So with this episode, we have Simon Westbrook. He is the English envoy, a diplomat thing they call him. He is arrested for being the spy at court that caused the death of 6 companies of French troops based on the testimony of a prostitute who said she saw him bragging about it. Now, really, I'm not saying that her words shouldn't be credited, but come on, she's a prostitute. I'm not, not trying to dog her or anything, it's not like, women had it easy back then, but really, come on now, she's a prostitute. A prostitute. I'm just saying. Okay, so then we have Thomas shows his true colors to Mary by threatening her and hitting a whipping boy when Mary talks back to him. So he was all smooth talking all last episode. He was seducing her and his fancy dancing. They even had the Queen Catherine like, whew, I like this. Because he was, like this suave Latin type dancing, like you see on Dance with Stars. He was doing all that stuff with Queen Mary, like sweeping her off her feet, and everybody, all the girls, like all the flood and stuff, like, whoo, that's kind of hot. And Francis over there looking like a freaking idiot, like, I really do. Like, my thing is, you gonna really let this man come upon your betrothed, sweet talking her and caressing her all on the dance floor? Like, really, dude? Like, really? Like, really? Like, you just gonna let him do that to your woman? I'm just saying, he punked you on the dance floor. That's kind of what he did. That's old school punking somebody on the dance floor. Like, he just seduced your woman right on the dance floor. So, yeah. So he shows his true colors. He says you will not, he said you will not have the freedom that you have with Francis, and that you will not talk until spoken to. And he was just going on like that. I'm like, oh snap! He just went freaking two-faced on people. I'm like, whoa, did not see that coming. Like, dang. And her lady in waiting was like, you should not marry him. Like, okay, look, I can tell you already. He sounds like he gonna be abusive. Do not marry him. And Mary was like, what other choice do she have? Which is true. If she stays with Francis, her people are not gonna get the armies that is needed. If she goes with Thomas, her people will get the army that she needs, but then she got to deal with a dude who looked like he might punch her in the face if he ever got a chance to. And then there's the rumor going around that he killed his first wife. I'm like, oh shit! You gotta feel bad for Mary, Queen Mary. You truly gotta feel bad for her. Like, oh no. So, after Mary ends up receiving a hint from Clarissa, that's the girl who's in the tunnels in the secret passageway of this castle. And so Mary, Francis, and Bash realize that Thomas had the most to gain by warning the English, because if he warned English, because he's the bastard child of his son, the King of Portugal. He has to be legitimized. So he got the thing from the Pope, and he has to marry a queen to truly be, a king of the next King of Portugal. So in order to do that, he would need a queen. So hello, Queen Mary. And and he had to make sure the French didn't get there first, to, get her to trust him more. So of course he would have to ambush, Bash, pretty much stop the freaking troops from coming out. So Mary would be like, oh, I have to get with Portugal. Smart move, but Whew. So Mary then questions the prostitute who admits that she was paid for her testimony because she's afraid of Thomas, which I do not blame her. I'd be afraid of him too. So Francis and Bash find Thomas where he is about to kill his whipping boy, Miguel, which I feel so bad for him. Like, a whipping boy, really? Instead of beating another person, you gonna beat somebody else? Like, what the whipping boy? Like, really? Like that? Are you serious? It's just, boy, how life was back then is ridiculous. So he has to kill him in order, to cover his tracks in the plot. A fight ensures, and Thomas is killed by Francis. So Mary, Francis, and Bash return to court in time to prevent Simon's execution because he's innocent. Henry and Catherine decide to cover up Thomas' treachery and orders him saying good relations with Portugal, creating a story where Thomas died trying to save Francis. Really? But hey, everything's politics. You know what I'm saying? Simon leaves France as the new English envoy to Portugal. Due to her role in protecting France's ties with Portugal, Mary is able to reopen negotiations for her marriage to Francis, this time pressuring Henry and Catherine for better terms for herself and Scotland. You go ahead, girl. You go ahead. Get what you need out of here. About time she starts stepping up because this whole, oh, am I not protected at court? I'm like, you a queen. You better rule it, girl. You better rule it. Work it. Work it. Work it. Or you find something better. That's what I'm talking about, girl. Work it. So that was Rain's episode from last night, Hearts and Minds. The pop. I mean, I know this is a TV show, and certain things is altered for the sake of for television and trying to attract the teens, but the politics of how things went down back then in the Renaissance times and times before that is freaking ridiculous. It's like, and I think that's what probably intrigues people the most is because the dynamics of social life. You have the kings and queens, and you have the lords and ladies, and below them you have I think you have like knights and stuff. I'm trying to remember how the pyramid went. Cause we learned about it in high school. Then of course at the bottom is like the peasants and common people, and the dynamics of how things went within people's social status and trying to move up, and the kings and queens how their situation handled, and how women were treated versus men, and marriages, and all that stuff. Is just like you just it intrigues you. You just like wow, like wow. You know what I'm saying? And then you try to compare it to today, you wonder how much has changed and how much has stayed the same. It's just like you gotta love period pieces, man, like for real. So this was Rain, Hearts and Minds, episode 4. The next episode is titled A Chill in the Air, and I'll see you guys next Thursday for Rain. Comment, rate, subscribe.